Walk on to any local golf course on a Tuesday, and you'll see a familiar routine. A player reaches into their bag, fishes around, and pulls out whatever scuffed, mismatched ball they happen to grab first. Watch that exact same player on Sunday morning before a club tournament. Suddenly, the random assorted range balls disappear, and out comes a brand new, expensive premium ball, straight from the sleeve. Ask them why they don't play that high-quality ball all the time, and the answer is almost a reflex. They'll tell you that playing a consistent ball is for the pros, and they aren't skilled enough yet to bother with that level of detail. This logic gets the sequence of improvement backward. It assumes that structure and discipline are luxury items, rewards you unlock only after you reach a certain handicap. The reality works in the opposite direction. Good players do not play with consistency because they are highly skilled. They developed that high level of skill specifically by forcing consistency into their routine early on. Treating your equipment as a random choice traps you in a cycle of unpredictable results. Without a uniform baseline, the brain cannot isolate your swing faults from the ball's physics, ensuring that your progress remains stalled regardless of how much you practice. To see why this happens, we have to look closely at the golf ball itself. Every single model on the market operates according to its own distinct set of physical rules, feeding entirely different data into your hands and eyes. Take the ball's compression rating. When the club face strikes the ball, this physical density dictates the exact force and tactile vibration that travels up the shaft and into your hands upon impact. The friction created off the club face determines the backspin, measured in revolutions per minute, which directly dictates how the ball grips the green and whether it rolls out or stops abruptly. Finally, the unique aerodynamic dimple pattern and core design modify the launch angle. Even with the exact same swing, a different ball will take a diverging flight path and land at a different total carry distance. Motor learning relies on a process called skill acquisition via pattern recognition. This human brain learns complex physical movements strictly by connecting an action, the input of your swing, to a predictable result, or the output of the shot. When you constantly swap out the type of golf ball you play, you actively sever that neurological connection. The output you see is no longer tied purely to your swing mechanics. It is heavily skewed by the shifting physics of the ball. It's the equivalent of calibrating a highly sensitive measurement tool while a technician stands behind you, secretly changing the baseline parameters every 5 minutes. Constantly rotating your equipment introduces noise into the feedback loop your brain relies on to learn. By severing the connection between input and output, you aren't building a skill. You're introducing interference that drowns out any meaningful feedback your swing provides. Since eliminating these variables is the clear scientific solution, the question becomes, why do players actively resist doing something so simple? The answer lies in the psychological weight of intention. Committing to a single ball and a structured approach forces a transition from knocking around casually on a weekend to actually engaging in intentional practice. That intention introduces a very specific type of pressure. If you lock down your variables, your mistakes are suddenly visible, measurable, and entirely your own fault. The easy excuses are stripped away. Buying an expensive sleeve of premium balls once a month offers a convenient illusion of a shortcut. It provides a quick rush and the feeling of improvement without demanding the vulnerability of actual long-term commitment. Deep down, golfers often make a subconscious choice to protect their identity as casual players. They prefer the chaotic, unmeasured nature of random golf over the uncomfortable discipline required to build genuine consistency. Look at two different players. On one side, the flashy golfer who frequently drops $50 on random, shiny premium balls for big events. On the other side, the quiet player who strictly uses the exact same model of cheap ball every single round without exception. The player hitting the identical cheap balls accumulates coherent neurological data. Because their feedback loop remains stable, their brain can identify subtle patterns in ball flight and roll, allowing them to refine their touch while the flashy player is still guessing at their distances. Golf culture often rewards the wrong behavior here. It celebrates the social status of playing expensive equipment, while completely ignoring the functional, repetitive mechanics of how human beings actually learn a skill. If you want to see a real drop in your scores, the rule is straightforward. Choose one specific model of ball, stick to it religiously, and learn exactly how it behaves in all conditions. This chosen ball does not need to be a tour-level premium product. The only requirement is that it must be physically identical to the one you hit on the previous hole. Consistency is not a glamorous medal awarded to those who have already mastered the game. It is the boring, disciplined, and absolutely essential tool you use to build that mastery in the first place.